Donald Trump had mentioned to his Secretary of Homeland Security that El Salvador was an S-hole country. He got a lot of political backlash from his opponents in the United States, as well as the politicians down here in El Salvador for that comment. But was he right? I believe he was. An explanation of his meaning of S-hole country was made by one of the Republican California state senators. I believe his name was Tom McIntosh. He mentioned that what Donald Trump was trying to say was that El Salvador was a failed state and was full of corruption. He's absolutely right. Corruption has affected me personally at the city level. Let me give you an example of my case. 7 years ago, right behind the back perimeter of my house, there is a construction of a 21-story tower and a 5-level shopping mall, which is 3 feet in the back perimeter of my house. Now, about that time, about 7 years ago, the management of that building had come over and asked me if it was okay for them to put their retaining wall, which goes down 150 feet, sustained by ground acres, would actually invade my property. And I told them absolutely not. I was not going to sign any type of contract or lease or anything of that nature for them to go ahead and to invade my property. Now, a few days afterwards, one of my neighbors came over to complain that this construction was already uh, pounding the ground acres underneath the back wall of his house. So about 2 weeks afterwards, I saw the ground machine underneath my home, and they were ready to go ahead and insert their ground nails or ground acres without my permission. So I went down to the city hall, District 3, which is in Escalon, and talked to the director over there, and she wasn't going to do anything to halt uh, the construction. She told me that if she did, she was going to go to jail. So here we go. We have corruption at its finest. Unfortunately. Uh, second of all, uh, this construction apparently when they were digging, they ran into volcanic rock, and they couldn't dig any further. So they started using dynamite. By using dynamite, they did a lot of damages in the homes which existed around the perimeter of their construction site, and that included my own home. My home had cracks on the walls. It also there are also the tile floors were completely damaged. I had a wall in my garage that sunk, and when I claimed to this the management of this shopping mall, they said they weren't going to do absolutely nothing to fix it because they said that they didn't cause the damages whatsoever. So I took them to the district attorney, and then they filed the suit in the court, which took about a year. Uh, they did finally fix the damages after they saw that the inspectors from the district attorney and the city were out there inspecting all the homes and including the building at their site. But when the case ended, which was a year afterwards, there was a judge that signed the document saying that he was relinquishing all charges against the three engineers that were supposed to go to prison for 3 years because They did not obey the municipal codes, which is that you can't use dynamite in a residential area. So here we go again, corruption at its finest. And then third, I also have a problem with their transformers, their electrical transformers that are generating a humming noise, and the city doesn't want to do anything to help me, and they know that they're violating the noise ordinance, and they refused, and they refused to do nothing, even though I hired a lawyer. So anyway, corruption will always exist in El Salvador. That's part of the culture. It belongs to Spain. That was especially when the Spanish came over here and settled as a colony here in Salvador, and that's just a culture that it won't change whatsoever. It will always be the same. Thank you.